What is up, Dacetacular Nation? Welcome to the 71st installment of the Dace Man Show. I am your host, Chris the Dace Man Dace. Tonight, broadcasting from Moncton, New Brunswick in Canada. Joining me on the panel, as always, from Iowa, the one, the only, Frank.
I gotta be the first because I beat Gibby in here. Ha ha, sucker. I mean, hi.
You did. I don't even see Gibby on the panel yet. Wait.
Yeah.
Also joining us, like every week, Tricia Bell.
What's up?
You sound enthusiastic. We're still waiting on the Birdman.
Yeah, of course.
Anybody else hear the echo?
Do you have the player running somewhere?
It's probably Trish.
I thought I did.
I have headphones in.
It could be my headset because my headset does what it wants when it feels
Oh,
like it.
fair enough.
Yeah. Oh,
and he's here.
You made it.
I have headphones in, so I don't think it's me.
I don't think she has headphones.
Let's blame Gibby.
I see.
I think she's using a penis as a microphone.
Hey, Gibby, say hi to the masses, you freak.
Hi, masses.
So tonight is a very
show.
special episode. Joining us is Ed Roman, a musician who is on the indie rock scene. He is known for his songs, I Told You So. Tonight he's on the show. We're going to ask him a few questions. So here he is. Ed, say hi to the Dacetacular Nation.
Hey, Dacetacular, hello.
So how are you? Thank you for coming on the show.
Well, pleasure to be here. I'm doing well. I can't complain. Everything is running like a well-oiled machine, you might say. And
well-oiled.
I don't want winter to be coming around the corner, to tell you the truth.
Oh, I see that. I've been watching the forecast. I'm visiting Moncton this week for work, and I see that snow is on the horizon
I know.
for them on this weekend.
Yeah, Canadians are infatuated with weather. We can't help it.
Uh-oh.
So, Ed, you've been in the business for quite some time now. Your freshman release was in 2000. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your first release and how you got into music as a whole?
Well, music is always been a necessity, and for me, at a very young age, I was told I had a learning disability, which for a young kid growing up in the 1970s was a difficult thing to deal with because they still really didn't understand what dyslexia was or, why I had these sort of cognitive learning issues. But the reality of it is that dyslexics are not at a disadvantage. In many ways, we are at an advantage. And what I mean by that, and if there are people out there that are, been told they have a problem, don't look at it as a problem. It just means that we think outside of the box. And, we could go through the Wikipedia list of people, that have been diagnosed with this problem that are, literary geniuses, musical people, architects, theologians, actors, poets. All of that it means is that for me, gravitating to music meant that I could self-express myself right away without all these sort of issues. And because of that, and academia being sort of a hurdle for me, it was a way to find like this sort of sense of peace with what I was doing as a human being and relate to my peer group and not feel so inferior when it came to grades and other things like that. And because I had a lot of, really important moments and teachers in my life when I was younger that sort of pushed me in those directions, I had to follow it, and also, too, just the enthusiasm growing up at that time. I'm speaking of, 1975. I was born in 1970, but my cognitive musical recognition of remembering things back then, I just remember people being so, music was like a social statement and something that really, mattered to people. It was a cultural identity. It was still something that people more readily participated in as far as music culture. We didn't have the internet back then, so you just saw more people going out to clubs and listening to music and really so music for me was it's sort of like a godhead in a way, and it's something that I realized, well, hey, I got to pursue this in some way, and that's what I've been doing ever since I was a kid, really.
Now, you said you were growing up in the 70s, so what kind of musicians influenced you and pushed you into a direction when it comes to the songs you write?
Everybody. I say that, and it sounds kind of cliche, but the 70s was also a time when experimentation and crossover of a lot of stuff, and what I mean by crossover, not just the music and musicians playing together, but people in the way that, like, you could have one person not only listening to Bob Dylan, but they'd be listening to Richie Havens and Ravi Shankar, and they'd be listening to the band, and all these different people, that it seemed to be that there was less musical prejudice. So for me, that to me was like, okay, the 70s sort of spoke of that kind of headspace. And today, it's hard not to, classify certain art and to put it into a box. It's important and necessary for people to do that, to sell it as a commodity or whatever. But to me, it's all music. So, there's so many different things, even in the jazz era when this didn't happen until I was later, but my good musical friend Tobias Tinker, he was far more into like jazz music at a young age, even at like 10. He was learning to play Ruby Blake numbers and stride piano stuff, and he handed me Kind of Blue by Miles Davis when I was a kid, and I was like, at 12, I didn't get it. I was still AC/DC, and things like that were sort of more of the 80s era when I was of that age. But I was always into music that seemed to have a lot of soul and charisma, and not charisma in a way that it's just the ego sort of standing out. It had more to do with, good songwriting, good lyrics that made you think, and at the same time, good musicianship, people that knew what they were doing, and they played instruments well, and even in some cases were triple threats or quadruple threats. I mean, I'm always pontificating about Stevie Wonder, but, you listen to the Complete Musicarium, and he's playing, all the instruments on certain tracks. And to me, that says a lot about the headspace of that musician and where they are inside of the music. It's not an ego trip. It's just the ability to be able to experiment, and that's really what I've been doing ever since then, other than playing, with close musical friends.
Well, I noticed you got a couple dates coming up. This Friday at 9 o'clock, you'll be in Mulmer, Ontario, Canada, at the Terra Nova Public House. And November 8th, you'll be in Indianapolis at the Now Broadcasting Central. When it comes to touring, do you feel that you prefer a larger space to accommodate more people, or the more intimate scene where it's maybe like a cafe or just something smaller where you're engaged with the fans?
That's a great question, Chris, because I other than being a bass player by trade, and I play guitar, and I've always played guitar. I've always gravitated to string instruments. I play a number of other things, but to me, having that ability to pull a guitar out of a case anywhere, at any moment in time, is crucial, because music to me needs to be like in kitchens. It needs to be in living rooms. It also needs to be on stages and in concert halls and stadiums. But, sometimes a certain song may call for, a personal touch. So in a bigger setting, you can really get away with that with just one instrument. And I've seen that a number of times with people do that. I was just at a John Cougar Mellencamp concert, John Mellencamp, and he did most of the tunes with the band, but at a couple times he just came out with his acoustic, and it was great. And I remember Beck, doing that. Other than the band stuff that he was doing, he went on tour with just his acoustic, and it was great. And he was playing to like 2,000, 3,000 people, sort of seated houses or rooms. But playing with a band, small spaces can be really difficult unless it's like, a booze can at 3 a.m. and people are into it, and I love that and I love doing that. But when you got an electric, thing happening, it's so good to put it on a stage. I love playing outside. Acoustically, it's just so perfect. The space is endless, so you don't have this issue of echo and bounce like you do in some big arenas that are closed off and stuff. So, but, if you have good techs and people that know what they're doing and it's not over the top, I love both. My motto is I'll play in a ditch or a concert hall. I don't care where it is. Very cool. We had a guest on a couple weeks ago, our friend Mike News, who's a rapper, which is kind of a different style of, obviously of music. And we asked him about his writing process, and he had been removed from the scene for a couple years.
How do you feel when you're doing your writing process is the best scenario for you to get your most inspiration?
It comes, like I always say, like a thief in the night. I never know when, like just before I was getting ready to do this, and I was walking around the kitchen table, and I got my book out, and I start scribbling things. And there are things that start popping up, and I go, okay, this is leading me somewhere. And because of that, the writing process for me is ongoing. I can't put myself in a little box in a cubicle somewhere with a guitar and a computer and say, okay, I'm going to write 10 songs today. It doesn't work that way for me because I'm also a polymath and I do many things. And when I do many things, that's when the ideas seem to come to me because my life extends into other circumstances. So I start seeing things, talking to other people. I'm in other situations, hearing about other people's lives. And all that sort of amalgams in this way. And before you know it, the subconscious is saying, hey, write this down before you forget about it. And then you get those quiet moments, too. I find a lot of times in the evening, it's kind of the Elvis Presley thing where you shut the TV volume off, but the TV's on, and you're kind of playing to the broadcaster that's just ahead, But there's this movement somehow, this visual movement, and for me, I find it sort of like, okay, this electric light and this strange neon, man that's sitting there. All these little things start to flood together, and then before you know it, I'm starting to formulate, verses or choruses or finding musical ideas that seem to emotionally fit with what I'm writing. So, yeah, and that's a great question too, because I'm sure there's a lot of people that and I've seen it happen in writing houses and stuff. Where people come in and they're sitting down day after day, writing jingles and they're pumping it out there. But for me, it seems to be when I say before, even in the last comment, like a godhead, without sounding too corny about it. That's where really for me the magic happens as a writer, where I get excited. Because then I start thinking, well, something's speaking to me in some way, and there's an importance for me to sort of articulate it somehow. So I get so worked up. I even start pacing back and forth between my living room and the kitchen because I also put the book down at certain points when I'm formulating things, and I sit down again and I start thinking a little bit. But then somehow that walk back starts to realign things again, and then boom, I'm at the book again and scribble, And then later, the studio thing is a whole other thing because then I get to sort of, if I'm doing a tune like I Told You So that you mentioned, I get to piece it all together myself in the studio and play everything. And then I'm like a kid in a candy store. You really get to have the canvas out, and the instruments are there, which are the colors and the brushes and what have you. But you just at the end you feel like, okay, here's the creation, and that's what's the other exciting part is that. Those little epiphanated moments that come as the process happens, that's the final sort of bell curve, when you get to that point and you get to see it as it sort of evolves. Because, you can even take an idea to somebody and play it and go, okay, well, here's the idea, but it's still just, in its minute state, and the whole thing hasn't developed into the tune that it now, is and that people like.
Very cool. Trish, I know you had a question for him?
So I heard earlier that you said you had dyslexia, correct?
Yeah.
So did that ever affect you with writing your music along the lines of even just whether it be the lyrics or writing the music, like the beats itself?
Well, I'm sure if somebody were to go through my writing and papers, first of all, they'd be like, what is this chicken scratch? Because dyslexics are notorious for writing quickly to, sort of hide spelling errors in poor penmanship. But for me, it's the inertia and the idea. So when the language gets put down in a recording, that's what matters most. And, if I need to write things out, I can have people edit it for me if it goes to, press or whatever. But no, the musical aspect in the reading or writing of music or just, it really doesn't have that connection because to me, music is more about color and emotion. And no matter how complicated it is or how simplistic it is, it's about that emotion and showing it and playing it or capturing it in a recording in some way. So dyslexia, and dyslexia is not just related to literature or reading and writing. It's you can be mathematically dyslexic. There's many forms of it, but But for me, music was like, well, okay, I embraced it so wholeheartedly. It never even occurred to me that dyslexia was an issue in it. But it did show me that, well, some of the ways that I write or what I write about or the way I think about a song, maybe, like I say, and I believe this, is that the dyslexia is helping me see things from a completely different perspective. And that's what I've learned to embrace about it, and that's what I try to tell other people. If they say, "Well, I'm dyslexic, I can't do that," I'm like, "Well, wait a minute. Yes, you can." And there's many things people can do in order to vent their creativity or their abilities or their skills without having to worry about what that is, especially in this day and age.
For sure. Another question to go back a little bit to the writing. When you're writing lyrics and such, do you feel that it's easier to write lyrics to a beat or a beat and then come up with lyrics?
Well, I never. Sometimes if I've written a bunch of music, and I'm going through this right now with a piece, I'm just starting to piece the lyrical aspect to the music now. So sometimes for me, it's a bit of a conundrum when the music first comes, but I always know that if I let it simmer and boil, that the emotion is going to start to get me to say something and to start talking about it. But rhythmically or I've sat down at a drum kit and fell in love with a certain beat and thought, okay, yeah, this is the basis for the song, and I'm going to write a tune around this because of the way that it feels, and what I'm playing and the groove that's happening. But I really never try to say, well, here's the math on writing, because that's what also makes the writing process really exciting, is the fact that you never know how it's going to happen. Even the fact that, I'm no virtuoso on the Hammond organ. There are so many people around the world that are far better than me, but experimenting and playing with it and finding things that make me feel like, okay, I'm pushing myself a little, I'm finding a comfort zone, I'm finding a groove. Before you know it, that instrument that I'm not always, participating on is starting to show me something. I'm like, hey, tune, there's a tune coming out of this. On the last record, Oracles and Ice Cream, I wrote a tune completely around I just bought this Hammond organ, I got the Leslie, and this melody came out, and I wrote a tune called Deviate, and it was all because of that Hammond experience that I had, and since then I keep using it as a tool.
Very cool. You've got, I believe, 3 albums out, correct?
Yeah, there's 2 with Special Ed and the Musically Challenged, which were the Electric Unit, and then the band was on hiatus for a while. And then I had released 2 records myself, one of which is Oracles and Ice Cream, which was out in 2011, and just recently the Letters from High Latitudes album.
Is there any specific song within those albums that you feel is like, this is it, this is the one, that you really poured your heart and soul into, that you felt was the pinnacle of your creation?
Well, I try to pour my heart and soul into everything I write. I have a lot of tunes that I think are personal numbers that I feel very strongly about. Like, for instance, and I think that happens on every record. Like, there's something that, and that's why it might make it the number one track on the record, or perhaps even why the album is named what it is because of that track. So, for instance, like I Told You So on the last record is really an important tune to me because it's asking and saying a lot of things about what we are doing in our culture as far as consumers, where things come from, who's really running the show. It's asking, certain political questions in a satirical way, but in a necessity. And for me, finding that language through months of things of thinking about stuff and being turned on to certain films that I hadn't seen before and some books I haven't read in a while, I was like, okay, I really feel strongly about this number, and I think that's why it shows that way on the record. But in the same token, the tune I Found God, and that might make people feel uncomfortable, that title, it's talking about our relationship to the planet, because to me the Godhead is the earth and the sun, and the reason that we're here is because of these 2 wonderful masses that we're standing on, and I'm trying to say, what we do to the planet, we do to ourselves. What we do to ourselves, we also do to the planet. And at the same time, it's like an epitaph song. The last line in the song says, it came upon a vision, I leave you my admission. And for me, I'm saying a lot of crucial things in the lyrics of that song that is like a soliloquy almost in a way that's lamenting things that we're losing left, right, and center, whether it be wildlife or whether it be any kind of animal species, insects, bugs, bees. Think about what's going on with the bees, or even civil rights. And it permeates into many aspects of the human sort of psyche. So those were important songs for me to write. But I try to put my heart and soul into everything that I do. And somehow for me, when I feel it's like that on an emotional level, whether it be through anger or joy or sarcasm or humor or any of those things, it attunes this feeling in me that makes me feel like this is right. It's right for me. And that's the thing about like individuality, even being a teacher for so many years, aside from teaching the mathematical aspects of music that people need to use, I'm always trying to ask my students, like, well, what do you have to say? And how do you say it? For me, when I find the right moment or feeling in a song, it's right for me. And hopefully because it is, and that energy is right, and I'm attuned to it, the listener then in turn feels what I'm feeling. And that's what I think is in any good song that's written.
And you said just a few seconds ago that you're a teacher and you're teaching music. Do you teach at like a high school level, college level?
Well, both, in fact. I've been teaching out of different small schools in Toronto for a number of years, and up until about 8 years ago, I started teaching out of my home. And most of the people that I teach range from the age of 7 to 70, but I've got a lot of young kids that are coming to me and have been for a long time because they're removing a lot of the music programs from the schools in the areas. And the other aspect I have is a lot of high school kids that are going on to college and university levels that are, getting ready to strike for their adjudication to get in. And that's what I've, found a passion in doing, and how I've supplemented my income for a number of years is by doing that. And that allows me to stay connected to music on a regular basis and learn more about music, because nobody learns the same way. And somebody that was told you have a problem, you have a learning disability, it makes me realize at a very young age that you can't expect everybody to fit in the same framework. I know it's expected, but at the same time, I think a good teacher or good teachers have a way to come at things from many different levels, whether it's for the entire class or for the individual person. So teaching has shown me a lot about music, and because of it, I didn't play drums a lot or teach drums a lot, but when kids started coming to me saying, "Can you teach me how to play drums?" I was like, "Well, yeah." So I had to do research on how do you write drum music, how do you show somebody how to play something, how do you teach it, what books should I be using. Same thing happened with keyboards, same thing happened with guitar. Those were all things that I dabbled in, but at the same time, teaching gave me more of a vehicle to say, well, I'm not only teaching you, but at the same time, I'm learning myself. And I learn from them. If I'm X amount of age and they come in and go, "Have you ever heard of this band?" And I'm like, "No," then they're teaching me something. I'm learning something new about what's going on somewhere else that I knew nothing about.
Very cool. It sounds like you're very passionate and engrossed into the musical business. Why don't you give the fans a heads up as to where they can find all your albums, more information, tour dates, and such like that?
You can get me always at www.edroman.net. You can get the Ed Roman app for free at iTunes. You can get it for your iPhone, your iPad, your Android. And it's totally free. That keeps you up to date with my social networking, where I'm playing, my gigging, any kind of media that's going on. And, of course, I'm on Facebook. I'm on Twitter. I'm on all the Upward mobile social media stuff. And you can get my stuff at iTunes. You can get it at Amazon. You can get it at CD Baby. You can listen to a bunch of it for free on SoundCloud. So I'm all over the place.
Awesome. I'd like to thank you for joining us tonight. It's been a very fun interview, very interesting to see how you've come across these past couple years. and where you've gotten to and how you pay back the community with your music. What we're going to do now is we're going to take a quick break. We're going to play his single, I Told You So, as we're on break. And once again, I'd like to thank Ed Roman for joining us here on the Dace Man Show.
Hey, Chris, it was a pleasure, man, and congratulations on your 71st show.
Yes, thank you so much. You guys enjoy Ed Roman, I Told You So.
Inside your shopping carts and all the hearts of everyone you see. Buy up the bygone, illuminate morons. Have you seen it on TV? I hate to say it, but I told you so. I hate to say it, but I told you so. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I hate to say it, but I told you so. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Another hand inside the puppet of an ass, falling down on the ground, and he's crying, he's your savior. With his box crying babies who will slit you and guilt you, the neon enticer injecting the flavor. I hate to say it, but I told you so. I hate to say it, but I told you so. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I hate to say it, but I told you so. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I'd hate to say it, but I told you so. I'd hate to say it, but I told you so. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I'd hate to say it, but I told you so. I'd hate to say it, but I told you so. I'd hate to say it, but I told you so. I'd hate to say it, but I told you so. Whoa, whoa, whoa. We build the myth inside your shopping cart and all the hearts of everyone you see.
Hey, and welcome back, Dacetonians and the few and proud in the Dacetacular. We just had Ed Roman on the show, and now it's time to go into sports. But first, that was I Told You So by Ed Roman. I hope you guys enjoyed it. It was a fun interview, a cool clip to play. I don't think we usually play music on the show, so that was new.
We play music, but it's usually Gibby sings, and it's usually scary.
Hey,
Yeah, or Mr.
it's
Dinkstein.
beautiful music, okay?
That's scary.
I have all the Gibby songs on my iTunes.
Exactly. I make millions off that crap.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So, like I said, we're going to go into sports, but that was our interview with Ed Roman. Very cool dude. Check him out at edroman.net, and you can also follow him on Twitter at Special Ed Roman. Okay? So now it's time for sports, so you just yell at Gibby.
sports. You follow sports?
So NFL Week 8 is in the books, and Thursday, October 23rd, saw the Chargers fall to the Broncos 35-21.
Boo.
Woo!
You heard
I didn't
it.
get to watch
Boo?
the game. I was in Jersey.
Wait.
Oh, yeah, so we're not going to have much of a football conversation this week because Frank was traveling Sunday as well.
Yeah, I missed all of the games. Well, except
Oh.
for the Sunday night one and Monday night.
We're a
I
little
can
mad
say
at
words,
football
though.
this week. I blame Dace. Be prepared to have your tires slashed.
No, I'm going to skip that game. Sunday, October 26th, the Lions beat the Falcons by 1 point, 22-21. The Bills beat the Jets 43-23.
Bing!
The Bengals beat the Ravens 27-24. The Seahawks beat the Panthers 13-9. That must have been a boring game. The Patriots Chicago. The Patriots destroyed
Bears.
Chicago.
The only words that came out of that were Chicago. It's like it knew.
Yep.
You guys picked up on that pretty quick.
We've been practicing.
We've been getting better.
Practicing all day, son.
Has
All
you
day.
really that you had nothing better to do than practice that? I mean, something we've been doing for 8 weeks now.
You have to understand, I had to get her things
You're
from
welcome.
work, so I was just like, the Bears, the Bears, the Bears. And they knew exactly what I was talking about. It was crazy.
I guess being quiet for a half hour is killed you.
No, it didn't. No, it did not.
The Texans beat the Titans 30-16. The Dolphins beat the Jaguars 27-13. The undefeated Kansas City Chiefs beat the Rams 34-7.
That's
The
it.
Vikings won against the Mercer-driven Buccaneers 19-13, proving that Frank should not watch football.
Yeah, except for it was the Buccaneers. Like, it's pathetic that we went into overtime with a shitty team. Maybe the Jaguars could give us a run for our money. The Raiders probably get a win off of us.
The Raiders lost to the Browns 23-13. The Steelers beat the Colts 51-34, and the Saints beat the Packers 44-23. On Monday, the team that may not be named pulled out a surprise victory in OT over the Cowboys 20-17.
What?
Mm-hmm.
I'll be nice this week.
You don't want to be considered a racist?
I don't really care.
The World Series is underway, and it is currently in Game 7, where the series is tied between Kansas City and San
What happened to my
Francisco.
Eagles?
What? I ignored it.
Oh, we're tired.
They lost to the Cardinals 24-20 because Brian.
God, that was such a bad game.
Go
Bad
on.
game. So that means we're gonna have to beat. In order to get into the playoffs, we're going to have to beat the Cowboys twice. That's going to be pretty hard.
You can beat the Cowboys if you don't mind. I'd love.
Yeah, to beat them twice in order to get to the postseason. So.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Tony Romo choked like I was figuring he would. He probably got into a fight with his boyfriend or something, so I think we're good.
He was hurt
Okay.
for a little bit.
He still got into a fight. He still choked. Like
He's still hurt.
He probably took it in the butt too hard the night before.
Interesting.
Hurt his back a little bit.
Exactly.
Weakened it. It happens.
Gibby should know
Exactly.
about that.
It does happen every once in a while. You
That's
never
all I
know,
got
man.
for sports. Time for Weird News.
Gibby! Boy, that escalated quickly.
All right, guys. Story number 1. Salt Lake City. A black man who was shot by Ohio police while armed with a samurai-style sword as part of a Japanese anime costume died of multiple gunshot wounds, including several to the back of his body, according to an autopsy release. State autopsy found 6 gunshot wounds. 6 to 20-year-old Darian Hunt. What are you doing here? You're not allowed here.
Yeah, if he was a real
Talking to?
samurai, If he was a real samurai, he could have deflected the bullets.
Yeah, exactly. So the cops are obviously saying self-defense.
Poser.
People were bitching that it wasn't self-defense, and the cops just went on a rampage.
Oh wait, was that a cue?
It was. I kind of delayed it out some, hoping you could figure it out, but
Danger zone.
I caught up.
all right.
That's why I asked if it was a cue. The heads up, I'm probably going to disconnect because I'm going to go get some soda from the other room.
What?
Oh, okay.
No, you're not allowed to.
What other
wait,
room?
I'm still connected. You guys are talking shit. I have a suite in the province of Moncton because nobody comes here.
Oh, that's nice.
Well, that's probably why
All right.
you're there.
So I have the top 10 too-soon costumes for Halloween.
What are you're doing lists?
Wait, I feel like you're stealing Frank's thing.
I am. I don't like his segment, so I'm doing my own, all right? We're going with it.
What's so weird about costumes?
So apparently, number 1 on the list is...
It's a little redhead kid from the carnival. Apparently, there's a slide. Apparently, my grandpa said it was real fast.
What? Number 1.
What?
Anything black-faced.
Apparently.
What?
Wait, did
you say too soon?
Did you see how people were being Ray Rice and his wife for Halloween?
That's on my goddamn list.
My bad.
Number 2.
I would have went blackface just start
Ebola
punching
related.
What?
Anything Ebola related.
Are you making this list up, or do you actually have a list?
Number 3.
Is this
Ray
a published
Rice.
list? Don't ignore me.
Number 4. Stephen Collins.
I didn't even hear number 3.
Ray Rice.
Or know who
Right.
number 4 is.
I'm gonna Ray Rice, you bitch.
Teen Twisted.
Too
what
soon.
is that?
Too soon.
Something about Jerry Sandusky. I don't know.
That's not too soon.
Oh, he's the boy who got touched?
Number 5.
Way not
ISIS
soon.
terrorists.
Why the hell
Were
are you
they-
speeding through this and ignoring me?
Were they
Number
chopping people's
6.
heads off?
Well, it's actually they have a doll with a knife.
You know what's fantastic?
What?
You calling in. You get muted, bitch.
Oh, that's funny.
Number 6. Dressing like a retard in red. Number 7. Looking like a goose. Number 8. Squeaky voice and goatee. Number 9. I'm going to bring him back because I'm done doing this.
Number 6.
I'm
Donald
missing a beat.
Sterling. Number 7.
Who?
Anything related to Malaysian Airlines Flight 370.
Oh, wow.
How do you do that one? Do you just like disappear in
disappear.
the middle of the party?
Oh my God.
Show up dressed as an airplane, and then within a half hour you're gone. Nobody knows where you went.
Number 8.
I
Dressing
hate
up
you
as
guys.
Robin Williams.
Oh, too soon.
That's not nice. Those people
That'll
need to burn
never
in hell.
not soon.
Those people need to burn in hell.
Ouch. 9 and 10
really like-
suck. So we're going to
I really
Wait,
like how
I want to
everything
know
else.
what they are.
Number 9 is anything sexy that isn't, which I think is kind of stupid. Number 10 is anything that combines previous things on the above list.
You can't combine them. Like, what if I want to be Ebola-driven Donald Sterling?
Ray Rice.
Just as
So
I'm
number
just
10
it's up
was-
there.
number
What?
10 was all of the above.
As
It's a
a
really shitty list.
consumer
We need a number
analysis.
10, guys. We need a number 10. What do we put?
Gibby.
All of the above. Somebody was stressed out from finals.
So, Gibby, are you going to say the tagline? I Googled it so you didn't have to.
No, I'm not.
I'm going to completely steal Frank's
did
thing.
all the work.
Really haven't used the tagline in a while. Haven't really done
uh,
facts for a while. Just random lists and make you guys fight.
Here we go, guys. Lysol customers want to know, can it prevent the spread of Ebola?
Oh, God.
The answer's no.
Yes.
People want to
Spray it
know.
on every-
They say it kills 99% of all germs.
Put it
Yeah,
on
and it
your
clears
meat.
the germs in your eyes, too, so spray it in your eyes, idiots.
Yeah, in your eyes,
So,
and ears, and in your children.
Apparently, their phones are blowing off the hook.
Spray your phone, too.
Oh, we had,
Spray other people's
Holy
phones.
shit.
I know
What?
I'm detracting, but I've got the reports up. We had 17 live listens last night.
I question it.
Really?
And
Last
12
night.
live callers. That's because we kept calling back in. Funny.
What was last night?
I had a show last night, all right? You weren't invited.
Literally.
Don't worry about it. This is my segment.
We had the greatest show ever last night.
Yeah, we did.
Second
Houston area authorities say they believe a school district police officer who pulled over motorists and then asked them to smell their feet have made similar demands to others. 26-year-old Patrick Quinn is charged with 2 counts of official oppression. He's on free on bonds of $2,000.
$2,000?
Harris County District Attorney official says Quinn stopped a woman in August and said he found marijuana paraphernalia all over this woman. Quinn then told her he had a foot fetish, wink, wink, and when released her, let him smell her feet.
Show me them feet.
That's right. That's right.
It's a throwback.
Yeah.
Later, he said he wouldn't need to smell them if she gave him her underwear. Investigators say he then changed his mind and let her go into the wind. Just like that. This is our police department, guys.
Really?
No way.
So. Alright, guys. Election day, officially in 2017, all Republicans have launched a program that is threatening a massive purge of voters from the polls. Apparently, if your name is too close to other names, they're not going to allow you to vote. 7 million names have apparently been sanctioned as unable to vote due to the fact that they're too close together. And it's bringing up...
Hi, my name is Chris Face. I would like to vote. No, you're too close to this other guy. What?
Right.
Speaking of, I love how you use Gibby's segment to search the soundboard.
That's right.
I love how the Doug music keeps coming up.
So if you people realize you can't vote, that's why. Allegedly, thief sprayed milk from her breast. Bam, bam.
Wait,
and then stole $120.
We still talking about voting?
That's what I thought. Why did we transition?
I don't know.
Right now. I did already. Don't worry
about it. What happened to the feet lady?
She got her feet felt up, girls. So basically, the woman whipped out her boobie. Bam, bam. Shot people twice, and then they gave her $127 because they were threatened for their lives.
Wait, what? What? Whoa, back the...
Crazy.
What?
I know.
No,
Next.
repeat that. What just happened?
I told you the story. You're not listening. Not my fault. Hogs gone wild in Florida threaten Halloween festivities. Authorities apparently have decided that they're having a hog problem in Florida. So they got a group of dogs and released them to the wild to help protect kids for during Halloween. So they say there won't be any problems with the dogs after winter because they'll just die because of the code.
The code?
That's all I got for today, Gibby.
Yeah, you powered through it like a mother.
Hey, we're falling behind. I'm trying to save time.
Falling behind? We're like 10 minutes early. It's 8:44.
Bam, I'm done. All right, we're good.
You have drugged this segment out for almost an hour before.
I can't.
He's drawn it out for like days before.
Gibby is used to dragging things out.
Powered through.
Call me up on Thursday to finish telling this story.
Right. Fail. Epic. Mother effing fail.
Your face.
Next is gorgeous.
Sunny days sweeping the clouds away. On my way to where the air is sweet. Can you tell me how to get to Sesame Street?
Well,
ladies
welcome to Frank's
and
Corner.
gentlemen, welcome to Frank's
Hey,
Corner.
shut it. No.
And we got a
You
list
had your
for
turn.
you guys.
You had your turn.
Oh, now you're Mr. Talkative.
Yeah.
Top 10 costumes that were too soon.
I feel like we already went over these.
Nah, never.
Number 1, Nick Cage. Okay.
Oh, it's on now. It's on.
Actually,
Your
what I
obsession
have for
with Nick
you
Cage is disturbing.
today.
No, it's not.
Very.
I'm gonna smack you, fool. I'm gonna smack you. Great cross.
Anyway, what I have for everybody tonight, since Halloween is 2 days away, is...
Really?
You have to count that? Like, you sounded really hesitant.
I had no idea what the day was. I had to look down to see it was the 29th, and then...
Oh.
We had a Halloween party last week. I'm all screwed up now, all right?
That was
Oh,
Halloween.
that's what screwed you up?
Did anyone see the video of Duber dancing to Toxic?
I didn't watch anything.
Yeah,
I'm too
a little
lazy. Way too much work.
I kept watching for myself, and then I wasn't there enough, so I was sad.
I know. Allie said you got really mad at her.
I don't know about really mad.
Rightfully so. It's like being
Yeah.
casted in the X-Men movie and getting cut and put to the deleted scenes.
I know, right?
Got to.
God. That's
Basically,
cruel.
Frank is Rogue.
Okay with that? Do I throw
Dun,
boop?
dun, 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 dun.
Anyway, what
Get
I
12
have
by Gambit.
is...
Wait, quick side note. Speaking of movies, did you see that they cast Doctor Strange?
Still not...
Yeah,
I don't know
that's
what
some
that
celebrity
is.
news.
It's only Frank's segment, you know, no big deal. Not like he's
Hey, when did Frank get here?
Yeah, when did
Hey,
Frank get
guys!
there? So what is this segment about again?
I think
The
it's
top
about turtles.
15...
Oh.
Top 15
Turtles?
serial killers.
Ooh,
Ninja.
Me.
People
I'm a
that
serial
real
killer.
life stabbed or killed or poisoned a bunch of people in really weird ways. Well, not all of
John
them really
Wayne
weird.
Gacy.
He's probably on the list.
Chicken.
Yeah, I win.
So anyway, number 15.
Number 10.
Born in 1905, Nanny Doss.
Don't know her.
Mystified-
Move on.
She's from Alabama. Anyway,
Oh, okay.
she
Oh.
mystified investigators and people all over the United States when she admitted to killing 5 husbands, 2 children, 2 sisters, her mother, her nephew, and her grandson with a laugh.
Oh my gosh.
She poisoned her family victims without a single stated motive. When her
The Joker?
fifth husband ended up in the hospital for 3 weeks, investigators finally started to look into the mysterious deaths that lasted over 30 years. She was caught in 1954 and sentenced to life in prison, where she died of leukemia.
And that's a bitch.
That's like karma.
No, it's not.
Nah, I think like 3 husbands and a kid, that would have been karma. I think at that kind of list, she should have gotten hit by a truck while sitting in her jail cell and then lived for an hour in agonizing pain.
Only an hour, huh? Okay.
The good news is I don't want to piss Frank off.
I will. Let's go, Frank.
Okay, moving on to a guy that I'm going to murder his name because he's from Poland. But born in
Brian
1933, Joachim Kroll. Joachim Kroll?
Nick Kroll's father?
Yeah, it looks like it. This picture is kind of terrifying. He killed...
So is your face.
Hold on. Awkward silence here, guys. That's his face.
Don't awkward.
Anyway.
Awkward silence.
He killed and ate his victims
Oh.
from 1955 to 1976. He killed a total of 14 people, including young children. He strangled his victims
Totally, Gibby.
before having sex with their dead bodies.
Yum.
Then he'd take pieces home to eat later.
Oh.
After he had sex with it, I would never eat anything I had sex with.
That's
Both
all
ways,
you're worried
Gabe.
about? Oh.
Kroll was only caught when a neighbor complained about the backed up plumbing. When police
Is that a
investigated the
euphemism
pipes...
for asshole?
No, that was his actual toilet plumbing.
No.
And when the police investigated his pipes, not a cavity search, Kroll admitted they were backed up with guts.
It's got to be his asshole.
And then was sentenced to life in prison, but died of a heart attack in 1991.
I was going to hope it was irritable bowel syndrome.
Oh, anal leakage. Anal seepage. That's what I wanted to know. Never fun to say.
Leakage? What?
Number 13. Magdalia Solis.
I don't know any of these people.
You'll get there. This is still the teens, man. And it's
Man,
probably good
it's
you
gonna be
don't
a
know them. Why do you
long
want
segment,
to know
guys.
these people?
Yeah, I know.
You could have been
Frank,
killed, raped, and eaten.
Frank, we don't allot you this much time. I think you like overdid it this week.
Oh, well, Gibby took his segment short. I was only going to do 10, but then he decided to just end his, so I'm like, I'm going for 15.
That still doesn't.
No, I do what I
enough
want. This
to
is my
54.
segment now. You get out of here. Go. Sit in the corner.
Slap.
As one of the leaders of a Mexican cult, Magdalia branded herself as the High Priestess of Blood. What a title. When she killed 8 people and cut out their hearts. The
Just
former
one heart or
prostitute.
2 hearts?
What?
1 heart or 2 hearts?
One. All 8 people's hearts. Anyway, the former prostitute killed at least 8 people in order to keep her. Now I screwed that whole thing up. At least 8 people in order to keep her hold on the villagers of a Mexican town during a blood ritual.
Wow.
God, I felt like Gibby there. I couldn't speak. She was arrested along with her 2 accomplices in 1963 and sentenced to 50 years in prison. So she's still there, rotting, maybe going to escape and cut more people's hearts out. Who knows?
Ooh, hearts.
I'm bored until you say some name I know.
Gary Ridgway.
I don't know him!
Ridgway
He's from
is...
Utah. And he was known as the Green River Killer.
Yeah, he probably had 12 wives.
He strangled over 70 women throughout the 80s and 90s.
That's it?
If I was a Mormon, I'd do the same thing.
And tossed many of the bodies' victims in the Green River.
Yep,
I would
do the same thing.
I don't think that river's that much green anymore. Just saying. Just
It's red with blood.
Might be red.
He would
Say that
choose
again? That was
prostitutes and
adorable.
runaways.
Might be red.
Prostitutes and runaways as his victims, luring them away by showing pictures of his son, who was finally caught in 2001 after many years of terrorizing the women of Washington. Yeah.
Washington is all about the Washington.
How about Henry Lee Lucas? You know that guy? Heard of him?
Oh, yeah. He liked my something else that you guys don't need to know about. Woo-hoo. Go on,
Lucas?
next step.
Born in 1936, over a period of 20 years, Henry Lee Lucas killed at least 350 people. Although his number could be closer to 600.
That seems about right.
Among his victims was his own mother, a drifter, and unidentified woman. Why do they have to point those out when you get 350?
Dace number 3.
But,
are you saying that I killed these people?
Dace number 4.
Once he was caught, he confessed to hundreds of murders, but recanted on most confessions. He ultimately was convicted on 11 murders in 1983 and sentenced to death, but he died of heart failure in 2001.
Karma. I was just going with it. I wasn't sure.
If that's the karma, just a little bit of heart failure, it's really not karma.
Yeah, I thought we covered that. Number 10, Leonard Lake.
Frank's version.
Leonard Lake. Ring any bells?
These names are not John Wayne Gacy.
Leonard.
Bueller.
Him and his partner Charles Negg killed between 11 and 25 people during 1983 to 1985. He brought his victims to his cabin's custom dungeon. He had a built-in dungeon to torture, rape, and kill. He videotaped many of his victims' last torturous moments. After Lake was arrested on a firearms charge, he killed himself with a cyanide pill. And that's when the police discovered his dungeon of horrors.
What a little bitch.
So that's
glory, man.
That's the fun you could have had in California.
Close.
All right. Number 9.
Chicken.
Pedro Lopez.
I know him.
Couldn't have any more of a authentic name than that. He raped and killed more than 300 girls throughout South America, receiving the name the Monster of the Andes. He originally killed 100 tribal women in Peru, but the police let him go to continue his murderous streak.
What?
And then he was arrested and convicted in 1980, but let go in 1998.
What? Why?
Because that's how they roll in Colombia.
Oh.
That's right. You don't want to mess with them Colombians.
Yeah, they don't care about females, I think. Is what I'm getting out of that. So, tits, don't go to Colombia. Bad news for you.
Yeah, I wasn't planning
But
on it.
Gibby, I hear they
Straight
have
up
some
drunk.
really good booze down there. They got beer, free beer. Go to
Listen,
Colombia.
Gibby drinks enough Patron. I don't think going to Colombia would be a good idea for him.
I think it'd be a good idea for him. Or you think he's going to join into their ways?
I think he might end up dead in a gutter somewhere.
That's the point. That's the goal.
She was not getting that at
Whose
all
side
out of
are
your
you
entire
on?
conversation.
All right, my bad for being a nice person.
You're not a nice
What?
person. Stop saying
Yeah.
that.
Since what?
What-
Yeah.
What the
this is
hell?
new?
Where's that coming from?
Oh, my Halloween resolution. No.
Who does the resolution on Halloween?
Oof. No.
Evidently Tits does. I don't know.
Apparently.
Number 8, Robert Pinkton.
Uh-oh. Is he the guy on Breaking Bad?
That's what I was gonna say.
Jesse Pinkman.
That's right.
Yeah, really close. If Jesse already voted, Robert wouldn't be able to vote because their names are too close. Anyway,
Right.
he killed anywhere between 6 and 49 victims. That's a very wide range to be a little unsure. Like, he either killed 1 or 67.
What? How do they not know?
I don't know. But the Canadian serial killer lured prostitutes and drug-addled women to his pig farm to kill them. He then cut up their bodies and
squeal like a piggy.
he would cut up their bodies and feed them to his pigs. He kept some of his victims' heads, hands, and feet in refrigerators.
Head,
Don't
shoulders,
know.
knees, and toes.
Sounds like Gibby's favorite meal.
Mhm.
While bringing some human remains mixed with pig intestines to a rendering plant to be made into products like makeup and soap.
Oh.
Knees and toes. Knees and toes.
What?
And your eyes and ears and your mouth and your nose.
He was
Head,
caught in
shoulders,
2002, sentenced to life in prison.
Seems legit.
Like, how did he get access to soap and makeup? Like, people bought products and were washing your face with other people's faces.
Oh.
Number 7, Jack the Ripper. Heard of him? Heard the name once or twice?
I have not.
He was just
Who
on
is
an
he?
episode of Forever. Hey, you can catch the newest channel surfing coming to Friday,
Cheap
the
plug.
Dace Man
Cheap
YouTube
plug.
show
Cheap
about
Coming
the Jack
to
the Ripper
Friday.
episode.
Cheap plug. Cheap plug is cheap plug.
I just like how Dace said coming to Friday.
Yeah, I say that because I'm not sure. I see the camera. I just lack the will.
There's usually
right.
cheating involved too, so.
Even though a lot of people know Jack the Ripper, but he earned his title as the world's scariest and most notorious serial killer for his mysterious and unforgiving nature. During the 1800s, he killed many English prostitutes by slitting their throats and opening their abdomens. He sometimes took body parts, including the uterus, as trophies. Nobody knows his true identity or what became of him. Moving on.
Gibby.
Number 6. Any guesses? Dace?
John Macy?
Dace?
John Macy
I said it wrong. I'm really bad
Of the
at
Macy's
names.
Parade.
of the
Fuck
Macy's
off.
Parade. Those
What's
fucking
John
floats
Wayne Gacy.
killed hundreds of
John.
people.
I was close enough.
Hundreds of
Born
people
in
died.
1942 in
I'm still
Chicago,
going with
Illinois.
Frank.
Sadly, you weren't one of them.
When having a children's birthday party, you never imagined that the party clown would be anything more than the entertainer. But little Johnny here, he was a professional clown with a murderous streak. Gacy killed 33 young men and buried the bodies around his home after
Why
torturing
not?
and raping his victims. He was discovered and executed in 1994 by lethal injection. Way to go, Illinois.
Get it, girl. Sorry.
Get it, girl. Get it, get it, get it.
What do you get? What?
Don't worry.
No,
about
go ahead.
it, Frank.
What?
You missed
Your
it.
face.
You missed out. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you missed the moment.
Me?
Let
it go!
Yeah.
Let it
Hopefully.
go!
I think the better
Uh,
question is, when is Trish getting her own segment? She's
As
just
soon
a
as she comes up,
freeloader over here.
She doesn't even know what's going on.
When is Trish getting her own segment?
As soon as she
Well-
creates one.
Exactly.
I'll take that challenge.
And in the meantime, number 5, Richard Ramirez. Born in 1960 in El Paso, Texas. The Night Stalker, as he was referred to, I guess, terrorized the people of Los Angeles when he went on a year-long crime spree in which he broke into people's homes to rape and murder. He killed 13 people and injured
My
more.
favorite pastime.
He was sentenced to death, but died of cancer in June 2013.
All right. Karma?
You just gonna say that every time somebody dies?
Yes.
Number 4, Jeffrey Dahmer.
I know that guy.
Yeah. Also
He
born
was
in
on The Ringer.
Sure.
Born in 19.
Johnny
Also
Knoxville
born in
movie?
1960. Yes, I remember The Ringer. When the fuck did we get ice cream? Anyway,
Yeah,
1960
exactly.
in West Allis, Wisconsin. Jeffrey Dahmer became one of the most famous serial killers.
Oh, Lord.
Actually. Wow.
Oh,
Serial
get
killer
pissed.
in the U.S. when he was caught for the murders of 17 young men who he raped, dismembered, and ate.
Yum.
That's it? That's all he did?
Dahmer had been attempting to create a mindless sex slave by drilling a hole in the heads of his victims. He was caught
They
in
already have
1990
one in the head.
and beaten
Cult
to
them
death
out.
in prison.
Exactly.
He wanted a new one. Not nose or ears, those aren't big enough.
Aw.
And I think he just wanted to mind fuck everybody, is really where he was going.
Giggity.
What?
Number 3, Ted Bundy.
Oh, he sucked.
Born in 1946 in Burlington, Vermont. Who the hell's ever born in Vermont? I figured people just, I don't know, showed up there and got lost.
Is the Married from Children guy?
Close.
Thought so.
The names are similar, but he's not actually a serial killer.
Al, Ted, same difference. Between 1974 and 1978, Ted Bundy kidnapped and killed 30 women, although the actual number of victims is likely much higher, so between 30 and a million, who knows? It's up in the air. He tortured and raped his victims, as many of these awesome people do, sometimes even keeping their dismembered heads as keepsakes. Who doesn't want that sitting on the mantle?
Exactly.
He was caught in 1979 and sentenced to death by electric chair.
Governor who died.
Shut up.
So, and just for the record, Florida killed him.
Oh, stupid Florida.
For the record, Florida killed him.
For the record.
Numero dos. That's 2 if you don't speak Spanish.
Are you sure?
And then, yeah. Albert Fish. Or that's Mr. Fish. In the 1900s, Albert Fish kidnapped, raped, killed, and cannibalized young children. I guess he liked them
Sounds
while
like
they
a
were
good
small.
time.
While only 3 victims were ever proven, because it was the 1800s and
That's right.
early 1900s, so they didn't care.
All these people have gotten off if there was DNA testing at the time. Just saying.
He claimed to have killed many, many more. Fish was often known as the Gray Man, along with a few other nicknames, such as Pookie, Snugglebuttons. He was caught in 1934 and sentenced to death by electrocution. He was killed in Sing Sing, New York. Is that really a place? Sing Sing?
Yeah.
Sing Sing.
I don't
It's
know.
a prison, you goober.
It is yeah, I was going to say, you are
What?
an idiot.
It's a prison in New York. Sing Sing, it's a prison.
Oh, because that's common knowledge about prisons in everywhere.
Please tell me you haven't ever. How have you never watched Law and Order? They talk about Sing Sing all the time in that show.
So I found that show boring.
Well, I find you
Bum,
boring.
bum.
The introduction just lures you away. You're like, oh, this is 1950s shit. Walk away.
You're the worst kind of person.
I'm a what?
I think he's got you on that one.
And number 1, most serious serial killer in history, as ranked on this website called Ranker.com.
Hannibal.
You can go there. He wasn't real.
Oh.
Yes, he was. He was real in my mind.
For the record, all of these people really killed people. Like, actually.
Oh.
Physically.
Hannibal.
Reals.
How about
Really
Memphis?
killed. Ed Gein. Ed Gein. Born in 1906
Hannibal.
in Wisconsin, Hannibal Lecter famously inspired a plethora of the most horrifying Hollywood serial killers of all time, including Norman Bates, James Gumb, or Buffalo Bill in Hannibal,
I win!
Leatherface from Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Although
Wait,
Ed
Leatherface
only...
isn't real either?
he probably was.
Okay.
Although he only allegedly killed his brother and 2 local women, he was also known to dig up the dead bodies of women similar to his mother and use their skin to make a suit. He also
Let
used
him
body
go.
parts to make masks, bowls, lamps, and even more.
Oh, good Lord.
He was caught in 1957, but died in a mental hospital of respiratory failure in 1984.
That's it? Oh, what a vagina.
So there you have it, the top 15 as chosen by you and or random people that actually vote on this stuff.
All right,
Brought to you
so
by
sadly, Tits needs to dip out early.
What?
Really, though?
What do you mean tips need... What?
I have to leave. I'm sorry.
Why? What is more important than the show?
My life. I have to go.
Nope. Log in.
Bye.
Oh my.
And the douchebag of the week, Tits.
That's the
Douchebag of the week. Douche.
We're leaving the
Give
show
me a
early.
D. Give me an oosh.
Oosh.
Douche.
What's that spell?
You can blame Zoidberg.
She's a douche. Douche. I kicked her off the show. Douche. Douche.
That's what she shoves up. I mean.
Douche. Douche. So what? Douche.
Make douche.
And that's right. Trish is the douchebag of the week.
You're a douchebag.
She just ended.
Time for celebrity news.
All right, Mr. DeMille, I'm ready for my close-up.
Oh.
We got yay, motherfucker.
Fight my shiny metal ass.
Yeah, bitch! And here we go.
So in celeb news, as Tits was saying before she was so rudely leaving.
She's dead.
Right.
Yeah, she died.
Dead. She doesn't exist anymore.
Benedict Cumberbatch is rumored to play Doctor Strange in the upcoming Marvel sequel. And I say rumored because even though it was leaked online that he's in negotiations, Kevin Feige came out and specifically said that nothing is finalized yet.
I don't know who that is, but okay. I believe
Kevin
him.
Feige or Benedict Cumberbatch?
Faggy.
Every one of them?
Feige is the head of the studios for the cinematic universe. Cumberbatch played Khan in the new Star Trek.
And he's that Sherlock Holmes guy, isn't he?
Yeah. Well, Gibby would know him from Star Trek. He played Khan.
Yep.
I just wanted to make sure I was thinking of the right person.
You were thinking of the wrong person. I'm sorry.
Because I really don't like him. Is that a popular opinion?
I think he's okay. I think he's a little overrated. Now all the girls' vaginas are going to blow up.
Oh, that's going to be messy.
Yeah,
Brain and herpes.
Messy.
Herpes everywhere.
They bleed enough as is.
On top of the announcement of Doctor Strange possibly signing Cumberbatch, Marvel did announce the upcoming movies that will be in the cinematic universe up till 2020. First, Captain America, and they teasingly put Serpent Society, but it's revealed it'll be Captain America Civil War, which now will star both Chris Evans and Robert Downey Jr.
Really?
There will be a second Guardians of the Galaxy, May 5th, 2017.
Oh, right.
The
Hollywood
Captain
boner.
America will be May 6th, 2016, for the record. November 4th, 2016 will be the Doctor Strange movie. May 5th, 2017 is the Guardian of the Galaxy 2. July 28th, 2017 will be the third installment of Thor, entitled Ragnarok, which is a battle of the Asgardian gods against the Asgardian devil, I believe. November 3rd, 2017 will see an introduction of, well, at least his own featured film in the Black Panther. May 4th, 2018,
can't have that.
we'll see Avengers 3 Infinity War Part 1. July 6th, 2018, we'll see Captain Marvel. November 2nd, 2018, we'll see The Inhumans, and the Part 2 of the Infinity Wars for the Avengers will be May 3rd, 2019.
So, does that mean Robert Downey Jr. is going to be in both parts? I thought he said once they did the third one that they were going to be done with it.
There's a good possibility. The reason I think they're introducing Black Panther and Captain Marvel, they are technically Avengers. So Captain Marvel at one point leads the Avengers when Tony turns it over to her. And if Captain America Civil War does base its storyline on Civil War, Steve Rogers will die.
Oh, God.
And Bucky Barnes will pick up the shield.
Whoa.
The Winter Soldier. So it's very interesting to see Phase 3 off the heels of the new trailer that just recently came out for Age of Ultron, which was phenomenal.
I don't know.
Phenomenal. In other TV news, Neil Patrick Harris and his husband will be joining American Horror Story on FXX. And Jose Canseco is an idiot. He shot himself in the finger.
Oh.
How'd he do that?
Playing with a gun.
He didn't think it was
What was
loaded.
he trying to shoot?
His other finger.
Oh. Well, at least he got one. Hooray, you did it!
The story goes on to say former Major League slugger Jose Canseco blew his, oh my God, his middle finger clear off his hand while cleaning his handgun in Las Vegas.
Okay, rule number 1, if you're going to clean it, make sure it's empty. Rule number 2, if you're going to shoot any finger off, make it like the ring finger.
His fiance says he did not know the gun exploded, and the shot ripped through the middle finger on his left hand. So he's in surgery as of right now. Doctors desperately trying to save what's left of the finger. She says the bullet tore through the bottom part of the finger, and doctors have already said he'll never have full use of it again, even under the best circumstances. Worst case, it may get amputated.
I think I'd vote amputation. That way you could still flick people off.
Nah, he doesn't play anymore. He plays in like the CELEB games during the All-Star week, but not.
Well, I don't think he's going to be doing that anytime soon.
Yeah. So, that's all I got for celeb news.
That's it?
Pretty much.
Nothing else going on in the world of celebs?
I'm sure there's stuff that I forgot.
I've got other things. I don't know.
Right now, Disney and Stan Lee Media are also battling over the Marvel superhero names Spider-Man, X-Men, and the Hulk.
That's been going on for a while.
Yeah, and apparently they're in the federal appeals court again for the long time.
Try and get those back?
Yeah, well, they have them. It's just they're fighting a smaller company that says they own the rights to the name.
See.
Yeah.
Do they actually have a legit reason?
Probably not, except that they're making lots of money now.
See. Cricket. Cricket. Cricket.
I don't know too much into it. I know it's been a ongoing thing.
Who are we rooting for, guys?
Obviously Stan Lee and Disney, because if they lose the Incredible Hulk... Actually, if Stan Lee and Disney lose this battle, oh well. Spider-Man are owned by two other production companies. Let them deal with it. We got the rest of the Avengers. Hoo-ha!
But it would be cool if Stan Lee could get him back.
Yeah, that's really all I got this week.
Let him go! Let him go!
We oddly burned through the rest of the show really quick.
We did.
Oh, somebody didn't power through their weird news and just ignored us during our insults. That's our cream and crop, man.
Cream and crop. I know. I
screwed up everything.
I screwed up everything. I know.
You did.
I tried to watch Nightmare on Elm Street 2 last night. By tried, I mean my Netflix is being really stupid, and it'll play for however long it feels like, anywhere between 5 minutes to a half hour. And then just kind of go, I'm done, and freeze.
That's terrible. I like how my connection has been well tonight.
Yeah, and then last
night... Did you say that you broke up?
Did I?
And last night, it was horrible.
Yeah,
I stole a Cat 5. I stole a Cat 5 from the office.
Yeah, way better than last night.
Cat 5 what?
You at least use full words now.
Dubstep. So let's go around the table and do our plugs. We'll start with you, Gibby.
Let him go. Let him go. Please email me at daceman@gmail.com, daceman@gmail.com. Good night, guys. Have fun.
That's it. All right. Frank, what do you got to plug?
I've got the DaceManShow.com. Awesome website where we're getting stuff rolling again. My more genius friend that actually knows what he's doing, more than I do, he's got ideas of ways to link it with all of our awesome stuff going on with the YouTube channel, possibly with Twitter, with Facebook. So all that stuff should be coming to the website within the next decade. But we're getting there.
Decade, huh?
For the time being, I have added a Charmander to it because I thought it would be cool. And I put pictures in.
Why Charmander?
What?
Squirtle.
Why Charmander? Yeah, Squirtle, bitch.
I love Charmander.
Here, is it the Frank website? I don't think so. The DaceManShow.com, not the Frank.com. That's probably a porn site. Okay. And he's chasing his tail. We're gonna get sued.
Probably. Actually, don't we have to like be making money or something before we can get sued? What are the rules on that? Should we look into
Hey,
that?
my picture is there.
Yeah.
Oh, Gibby's picture's there.
Yeah.
Oh, Frank's picture's there.
Yeah.
You know you're missing a host who's gonna get very angry.
Who? We didn't know. What? I believe that so-called host that so-called wants a so-called segment just bailed.
Yeah, when her
right.
segment would have aired.
Oh, here's her segment. I'm Tits McGee. And gone. Because she left.
Wait, can you do her segment one more time? That was great.
I'm Tits McGee. And left.
I do like how on the website, the only show that is currently available for you guys to listen to is the Dace Man Show presents Frank's Corner, the podcast.
Still. Yeah.
Still.
Let him go.
Well, that's
And then
because
that picture of that weird elf girl.
Oh, yeah. I remember her. She was kind of hot in a weird, creepy way. But we put a hold on putting the shows on there till he gets the whole YouTube thing figured out, because then that'll make life easier, because once it gets posted to YouTube, then it'll just automatically into our website.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah, so there's no point updating it now when it's going to get reinvented soon.
You don't want to keep reinventing the wheel, huh?
Other things to plug, since I feel like plugging, is check out the newest Dace Man Plays, which is a 10-part saga. Is that how much you broke it up to?
Is.
Or 13? I don't know. But Dace and I spent most of our Friday while we should have been preparing for some Halloween party playing Borderlands, the prequel.
The pre-sequel.
That's what I said. But yeah, we played it. It was awesome. We did stuff. We killed bad guys. And it'd be a wonderful way for you to spend 2.5 hours watching us play a game. Well, you could have been playing a game, but instead you watched us, which is awesome. Also, look for more stuff from the Duel, because we will end up doing another one of those.
Hopefully.
Eventually. We will. And I don't know, other stuff too, yeah. That was actually all I had. Those 3 things that I've been a part of.
So it's my turn?
Yeah, you can.
Awesome. Check out. I knew he was going to do it.
I heard the
Follow me on
hesitation.
Twitter Follow me on Twitter at the Dace Man. Check out the Dace Man Show here every Wednesday night live at 8 p.m. Eastern.
It's horrible. Worst show ever.
You're the worst show ever. You're on the show.
What? Lies.
When did that happen?
Never.
Check us out next week. We'll have another musical guest on our show.
Time, guys.
Jiggly Jones.
Jiggly poof.
Jiggly Jones, man.
Jiggly poof.
Country singer Jiggly Jones will be on the show next week for episode 72. Maybe Trish will debut a segment, or she'll just keep bitching. Keep checking Basement Protocol. Their new series, The Dace Man and the Snowman's, out up to episode 2, and hopefully Upload Fail will be coming at you soon. Check out the Dace Man Plays, like Frank said. It's the Dace Man Plays and it's Frank Plays. So you got 5 videos, I got 5 videos. I was fair.
I guess that works.
I thought it was fair.
It is fair. It is.
I'm just saying.
I'm happy with it. I'm good. Hopefully people don't get confused.
I apologize that there hasn't been any D-lists lately, but as you can tell, we're pushing out a lot of other content, like channel surfing. Sorry, there hasn't been one of those in a while, too. But check them out on DaceManShowYouTube.com. Check out AllTimeWrestling.net. I will be returning to the ring this Saturday, 2 p.m. Eastern in Williamstown, New Jersey.
He's a cripple.
And we're also taking application for the Dace Man Show girl, because Tits bailed.
She did. She bailed. I feel like that's
I'm on a mission now.
Spot.
So we are accepting applications. If you would like to be the next The Dace Man girl, send us an email or something. Boob pics automatically qualify you for the finals. Just saying.
Yeah, and it gets saved to my phone.
What? No. And
How
we will
else
not
am I going to have a
them in
contact
any way.
picture? It's their contact picture.
Don't. Oh,
it's
well.
It's how I know who's who.
That sounds
who
better.
I know who's who. Just saying.
No, that's
how I know
fine. That sounds less creepy when you explain it than just
exactly
saying you're going to upload them to your phone.
Make sure you check out the archive session of the For Real Movie Club for this month because all of us were on it except for the girl.
I did that
we had
thing.
a better girl. Yeah.
Yeah, we did. She was a real sport for having to deal with me for an hour.
Yeah, and Gibby.
And Gibby.
Actually, it was basically she had to deal with the Dace Man Show on For Real Movie Club, and that's a hell of a feature.
Without knowing what she was getting into.
But I'm clapping for her.
She did good.
So now, as I'm trying to end the show, it seems like we have a lot to talk about. So for the few, the proud, yeah, I know, right? And the Dacetacular, I still need an outro, but just keep on listening.